So guess what? Guess what classical movie went right over our head? Shaka Zulu. Guys, Shaka Zulu was not a movie about Africans. Shaka Zulu was an American Indian. You don't believe me? Just Google Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu was a story about how colonizers try to come to America. Shaka Zulu was not a movie about Africans. Shaka Zulu was a movie about Black American Indians. Just Google Shaka Zulu and look at his attire. Google Shaka Zulu and look at the images. Shaka Zulu is a movie about how colonizers literally came to America and got the land through the Bible and technology, which is guns. Remember, y'all heard it here first.
Peace and black power. Black people, my brothers and sisters, we back. But let me say something, because I know you just seen that video. These so-called pretendians or whatever they want to be, Foundation, Black America, we back banging on this topic because I see this whole scenario playing out as a coin telepro. For you people who do not know what coin telepro is, that is the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and I believe that the CIA is behind the propaganda, and I'll tell you why. But I was born at night, but not last night. I could see right through the white supremacists and black skin. Yes, brothers and sisters, I was born at night, but not last night. I could see right through white supremacy coming in the form of technology through black skin. And let me say something. I'm not a Muslim, but I have read books by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I give props where credit due. I don't hate you because you're a Muslim. I don't hate you because you're African from Ghana. I don't hate you because you're African from New Guinea, or you're an African from Spain, Europe, wherever you may be at. We share the same common ground when it comes to who we are, the same common problems of who we are, living in a world ran and dominated by the Anglo-Saxon. You know, living in a world that's owned by the Anglo-Saxon, no matter where you at, as a black man, as a black woman, even our children live up under the shadow of death, up under a white supremacy rule. You feel what I'm saying? We often are killed by people who look like us and people who do not look like us. So we getting it from all races on the planet who hates us for being who we are. Yes, you got black supremacists and black skin, white supremacists and black skin. I want to thank the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for giving me the ability, giving me the mental ability to see through technology, observation, behavioral of self-hate Negroes. The Nation of Islam taught me how to sit back and observe the Negro who hates himself. I'm observing his behavior, her behavior. I can see right through this, man. I can see through the technology when it emerges through misinformed information. I can see the technology when it emerges through misinformed information. I can see the technology when it emerges through misinformed information. This dude in this TikTok video, it seems like it's CIA propaganda. He said that Shaka Zulu was an American black Indian, that the story was about the colonizer coming to the land of America, attacking Shaka Zulu. Are these people deranged? Because what I've been reading about Shaka Zulu since the 90s, Shaka Zulu was born in 1787. No one knows his actual month and day. They just know the year. He died, though, September 22nd, 1828 in South Africa. He was the founder of the Southern African Zulu Empire. This was a king. His father was a king. His father was, his name was Zenzana Kona. His mother was Nadine. She was a chief's daughter also. Why is it that FBA, Indian, I don't know what these people are, but they got a real vile, foul hate for black people? Africans are black people who speak a different language. They black like us. Why is the hate on their history? That is, I'm proud of Shaka Zulu because that's a black man. That was a black man who defeated the British numerous of times until they came back with the cannon gun. It was the gun that undermined South Africa at the time of Shaka Zulu's reign. He used to kill so many British, it was pitiful, stacking them up high. Matter of fact, his war strategies are used by the European today. I read about Shaka Zulu, how he used to entrap the invaders, called the bull, the horn, some kind of horn. He used to, the bull horn. He get them caught in the horn, and once he catch you in that horn, it's open season on the enemy. People who run TikTok, the Chinese, are not banning misinformed information from these Negroes here in my country. It's a damn shame that Negroes in this country have fallen for the anti-African agenda. And I'm gonna get to why you see all this confusion between African Americans and Africans. Us that's in the knowledge, my brothers and sisters from Africa who know what time it is on that Pan-African shit, they feel where I'm coming from, so we still cool. I don't have no discrepancy against no African unless an African individually has something against me. I embrace Africans, kicked it with Africans, told them what I'm about. And they was amazed that I was that smart not to fall for the anti-African agenda. See, because I'm gonna show you another video where the Europeans encourage Africans when they come to this country not to fraternize with the African American. And this is why when I was younger, and they still do it today, the American Western world media is so corrupt, they only focus on the poverty in Africa. They never show you the thriving, rich population. And I don't care what network, what population of people, there are always going to be some rich people and poor people. Capitalism is worldwide. This is misinformed information that this little kid is putting out. It's inappropriate to misappropriate history the way Foundation Black America is trying to do. To divide and conquer, this is what this is about. But as Pan-Africans, we are the most feared on the planet. I don't know no FBA being murdered for being an FBA. I don't know no religious people murdered because they religious people by the powers that be. Now you got stupid people who kill people because they Christians. You got Boko Haram, a stupid network of Negroes who kill people based on the Arab influence to kill people who are not Muslims. And Muslims that are Arab, how come the Arab Muslims don't kill the Arab Christians like Boko Haram, whatever the name of that terrorist group is, the African group in Africa that goes around killing people that look like them for the Quran, for the Arabs. This is a paid organization by the CIA to keep Africa destabilized. So that's why I tell my brothers and sisters over here in America, don't hate the African, because we go through the same thing they go through on different levels. It's a shame that African and African Americans cannot unite when you know it was a slave trade. They said slave trade didn't happen. Nothing happened. No slave trade. No African blood is running through our bloodline when back in ancient times they proved that Africans were coming to America having sexual relationship with Indians by choice in ancient times, not by force. They did have a fight in the end. The Olmecs fought the Mayans. The Mayans and the Olmecs fought the white invaders together. This go back ancient times when the two races were race mixing. So when you talk about Indians, now I know my history. I know the 5 civilized tribes. When I read about the Trails of Tears, and I studied because I wanted to know about the American Indian. When I found the American Indian were also traders, sell their own people out. I used to hear Indians fought to their death. They wasn't chumps. Africans are chumps. You know, I used to hear that they couldn't enslave the Indians because the Indians fought back, and black people didn't fight back. So as I studied history, Crazy Horse people sold him out. Tecumseh had a pan-Indian ideal to unite all Indians, no matter what tribe they was from. I don't like to say tribe, because tribe is a European saying. So we're gonna say what clan and what people they was from, because we dealing with people. And a tribe is a derogatory word that the Europeans used to use when they describe black people and Indian people, what we call Indian people. Anyway, black people, there's no way you say the slave trade didn't happen and you say you're an Indian. You should know that the Indians enslaved Africans, so somebody lying. How did the Africans get here? And I want to know those slave dungeons in Africa, there's like 30 of them. 30 big, colossal, big buildings that built like penitentiaries that I was in. Those slave dungeons where they broke the slaves, the black people. I don't like calling our people slaves. My ancestors, POWs, where they broke the POWs, the men, women, and children in these slave dungeons. Before Great Britain, England, Portuguese, and all the boys got to the port of these western banks where these slave dungeons was at. It was like 30 of them. They housed black people to bring black people, to take black people somewhere. They deported black people from out of Africa somewhere. Someone's import was set up for a slave auction. The reason why you don't see no slave ships, because it was Great Britain bringing the brothers and sisters into this hemisphere. The British was known for the slave trade worldwide. What are you talking about? There's no slave ships. Go study Great Britain, how Great Britain was here in America. The British had a colony here in America. They introduced the slave trade to the Americans. What are you talking about? We was already here. Yes, some Africans was already here. Probably from the Olmec, who was here 1200 BC in Mesoamerica. They don't want to believe that Africans was here. That's why those big colossal heads was buried. When they found those colossal heads, somebody buried those heads. Why? Because they was African. Nobody didn't want nobody to know that the print of the African was in Mesoamerica. 1200 BC. You think the Africans didn't know how to travel? The only people on the fucking planet at one time. The only people on the planet at one time didn't know how to build a boat. Are you crazy? In ancient time, Africans circumnavigated the planet. I read deep back in 1990s. That's when I started studying. And every time I read They found Africans everywhere. The original people. Now, I know why all this anti-African stuff is going on. It's been going on for a long time. They've been hiding our history for a long time. And when they went to Africa, the enemy, the Sphinx knows, Napoleon Bonaparte, 1799, couldn't believe that the civilization of Kemet, Egypt, was ran nobly by black people. Nobility, black prominent people who built pyramids. Everywhere we went, we built pyramids. So if you found a pyramid and some Egyptian artifacts, that belongs to the African artifacts. So that should give you the motherfucking realization that you've been wrong. Africa's been coming to America. Yeah, you know I'm still putting triple K's on America because it's ran by the Ku Klux Klan. Indian, pretendian. How in the hell you gonna get your land back from the white man? Nobody has a plan for that. But you have a plan to get on TikTok and bang on the Africans' history. And we know Shaka Zulu was from South Africa. A real general, a real soldier. I love when I read about Shaka Zulu. I believe some of the movie, because the movie was made in South Africa by the South African apartheid government. Learn about the African apartheid government. The government of South Africa, the racists made that movie. I read the book and saw the movie. I believe what's in the book was a little bit more deep. You see what I'm saying? Only thing the things started turning around against Shaka Zulu was when they came back. The British got tired of being killed. The British was losing wars. That's why this brother that made this TikTok video, he knew Shaka was a raw African. The musket guns were no good for the British. They had musket guns. When they shoot, the powder would go backwards. Before they look up, they got thousands of Africans on them, killing them. The first regiment would take the bullet. The way Shaka's army was set up, it was hard to defeat him. So they had to come up with the cannon gun. And they Christianized a lot of brothers and sisters. That's why I don't fuck with Christianity. Christianity is tied to the slave trade. I'm not claiming Indian blood. I may have some Indian blood, some white blood. I'm not claiming none of that. Because I'm claiming what I'm 90% of, African. You know what I'm saying? I'm born in America. So you don't know what running through my bloodline. I know the slave master raped many of our sisters. I know something happened. I know Thomas Jefferson, the president of the United States of America, impregnated teenage black women and had affairs with black women. I know George Washington owned slaves. He knocked the teeth out of one of his servants, one of the POWs that were kidnapped from the motherland, knocked their teeth out and put them in his mouth. He the first one invented false teeth. You know, they said he had wooden teeth in his mouth. No, he had another black man's mouth in his mouth. Sick. You see what I'm saying? That was George Washington. Of the United States of America, he was a slave owner. They say Donald Trump is the worst president. All of them are the same to me. All of them did no good deeds for black people. Fuck America and fuck the flag. Fuck the Confederate flag. Fuck the red and white and blue flag. Both flags genocide was committed up under both flags against us, black people. So these Negroes, with this anti-black, anti-African talk, it seems like it's a branch of the CIA. Why would this brother go out his way to lie on TikTok about the Shaka Zulu, who he really was? He said Shaka Zulu was an Indian. I see all those pictures that they be posting on Facebooks. You know, some of the pictures they be getting out of Ethiopia, because, you know, the Ethiopians, they got a different texture of hair. So they say they not African on the continent. So you know you got a self-hate disease throughout the world, because the world is ran on an Anglo-Saxon formation. It's ran on an Anglo-Saxon rule. So they see through the eyes of their enemy. You got to be light-skinned. You got to be white, blonde, to be considered beautiful. So the darker you are, the more ugly you are to some black people. If you're from Africa, because they think everybody in Africa is black, there's nothing wrong with that if they all was blue-black. But we different shades of color in Africa. You got light-skinned Africans never been tainted by a white man. It's just that our genes is so complex that we can make different races from the black man and woman. Only black people can do that. That's why we descended right from God. Every black person. You know, you got these religion people. That's why I don't mess with religion. You got certain religion people believe that God only chooses them. You got the white Jews believing that God only chooses them. They just didn't took God. Come here. You know, God chose them to go around murdering people, all in the name of Judaism. Kill the Palestinians. Kill the blacks. Kill everybody. You know, God gave us permission because we God's chosen people. If you believe a person that came from Khazar, somebody came from out of the Caucasus Mountain, is not related to other white people. Only thing different between the white Jew and the average Caucasian is that the Jew converted to Judaism and they got power. That's the same white people, them they kinfolk. They converted to this Judaism and became a Jew. Their ethnic background and genetics had no ties to Israel, which is Africa too. There's no such thing as a Middle East. All of that is Africa. The blue-black people was in Israel first, before it was called Israel. You see what I'm saying? All black people are chosen. So don't be getting your hung up on because you read the Bible. When black people are older than Moses. Black people are older than Shem. All the people you say we descended from. I'm not descended from none of them biblical characters. I've always been here on the planet. Not just in America. We always been here. We native to the planet. Black people have no birth record. We know the white race been here a little bit over 6,000 years. We've been here on the planet. We the first people to the planet. No, the oldest remains were found in Africa, not in America, of black people. So while black people in America with these uneducated videos have no data to back up what they giving us. They telling us about these black Indians. Where the dates? Where the data? They don't have no date. Shaka Zulu is not an African. The story was about an Indian in the United States of America, but you have no date. You see, go look at his attire. We pulled it up and see Shaka Zulu standing there like a soldier with the spear and shield. What's wrong with his attire? Where is this American Indian at? Show me this American Indian named Shaka Zulu. I want to see this motherfucker. Because you got motherfuckers agreeing with him that an Indian named Shaka Zulu, lived here. They try to turn Tupac into an Indian because it's supposed to be an Indian chief by the name of Tupac. So these motherfuckers put some feathers on my nigga. They use AI and put some feathers and some Indian attire on Pac. And Pac was come from a Pan-African military type family. All that preaching, all that talking, that shit don't do nothing. Stand on top of a soapbox, screaming out motherfucking biblical scriptures don't save black people from getting killed and knocked upside the head and drugged to a motherfucking jail cell. A motherfucking Bible don't save black people. We tried that shit. We gotta try something else. We gotta get off our ass and stand strong against what's coming our way. So I'm gonna get to the nitty gritty why these programmed AI Negroes is attacking Africans. Keeping this division between black people. We supposed to unite with everybody black. I don't care if they are from Haiti. How in the hell you gonna deny the Haitians, black people, when we go through the same shit? And if you knew the Haitians' history, you need to embrace the fucking Haitians. That's another ally, dumb motherfucker. Great Britain and America don't sit around and talk about each other in front of everybody. They unite against black people. We the only race of people who disrespect our people before the world. And you call yourself a conscious black man, a conscious black woman, and you talking and making videos, making fun of African people, telling those people we're not part of them when you know we are. It can't be you just all Indian when the Indians had sex with your foremothers. They had Africans, the Seminole had Africans in their regiment, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, the Creek. What are you talking about? The Cherokee, I studied this. Other Indians participated in the slave trade. So you run around with this mixed ancestry trying to denounce and jump on Africa because you got a little bit of blood, Native American or so-called blood Indian run through your bloodline. And ain't nobody here in America got no African blood running through. None of us black people. And there's black people that's blue-black, ain't never been to Africa. But somehow that strong genetics still appear. Ain't never been to Africa, and they live right here in America looking dark, just like an African. How is it that you look like a Nigerian, but you no kin to nobody from Africa? We don't look like all Africans. All Africans don't look like the African American, because the African American got white in him, might got some Dutch, the England, you might got some white in him, some Neanderthal. You see what I'm saying? And some Indian. Everybody raped our people, raped our ancestors, enslaved our ancestors. How in the hell we don't have no African blood possibly could be run through our bloodline when it's a known fact that the Indians enslaved Africans? But you believe that it wasn't no slave trade. If it wasn't no slave trade, how the fuck your ancestors enslaved Africans? So let me get this straight. Was it black Indians, light-skinned Indians, red Indians, white Indians enslaving black Indians? Because we live in a caste system. The dark-skinned Puerto Rican is hated by the light-skinned Puerto Ricans. So it is this caste system set up. Light-skinned Chinese, yellow Chinese hate the dark-skinned Chinese, the original Chinese. Because the white supremacists set the standard what beauty is. So, why is this guy making this TikTok video hating on the history and the great achievement of wise African like Shaka Zulu from South Africa? I think these people are working for the CIA to keep this unity between Africans and African Americans, because Africa is waking up. Africa is waking up. Nations such as Burkina Faso, y'all know y'all heard of the president, he's only like 36, Ibrahim Traore. Now Ibrahim Traore, they don't put it in the news because they want to show Africans in a low-level light, a belittling light, a condescending light, like America want to look condescending down on the African. They don't never want to show the black male in his superior stance, because the name of the game is to impregnate the black woman. The white man is to get the black woman now to get her pregnant so she can have a biracial child who will grow up to hate black people. This is what this is all about. They're trying to get rid of us using other black people. This is why you got this disunity going on, and it gets deeper. Now, Abraham Traore, 36 years old, I respect him because he won't bow down to the European. He was invited to sit with Donald Trump, but he turned down the invitation. Donald Trump and his administration in France want to get in bed with Burkina Faso to try to regulate the gold mines, see what they could steal and who they could kill. See, America and France, Great Britain sponsor terrorism. They are Al-Qaeda. They are Boko Haram. To keep any nation destabilized so they can rob it. See, this is, you create confusion, this is America. Create confusion over here and do something over here. That's the strategy of technology. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have formed alliance. And there's other African nations joining on with this African alliance. They want to see Africa united, 54 countries united. And the people are waking up on the continent. You got the young youth, the youngest black youth on the planet. Population, the biggest population of youth is in Africa. These nations are sticking their chests out at the imperialists. So, kicking out France and America is what Ibrahim Traore did. Other countries are following suit. So, American government have an anti or anti-African agenda to go into Africa and to eliminate the people who standing up against her. Because as Africa goes, America goes. Certain African nations that were in trading with America have been sanctioned for dealing with China, because it's a race, a global race to carve up Africa again. Like I say, as Africa goes, the world goes. Everything comes from Africa. But what Africans are trying to do now and doing is taking their natural resources, not giving them to the European for free, making money from the gold mines, the silver mines, the uranium, the cobalt, making money to take care of the people. That's what's going on right now in Burkina Faso. And the military, America's military, headed by the black dude, what's his name? He told a lie that Abraham Traore was using the gold to protect himself and to assist terrorism. But terrorism is sponsored by the white people to attack Africa, to keep Africa destabilized. So, you can't be African in the United States of America. We can't be saying we African when the United States government have a plan to go into Africa and kill men, women, and children. You have to look the other way, because you're going to say that those are not our people, but those are black people that they gonna step on. So other countries are following suit, kicking out white governments. Yes, America has an anti-African agenda. And I knew that they was going to use black people in America to sanction war upon the African people who are black. Black people of America have to deny African DNA, even though the people that they say, when they hear a black person say they full-blooded Creek, and I'm looking at them with their African features, I can tell this hopeless person doesn't know that in history that the Indian involved themselves into the slave trade. That's to deny their DNA. They would have to change history, that the slave trade didn't happen. And Donald Trump and the conservatives have been pushing to rip out the pages of history on slavery. So I figured it out. I figured it out when Donald Trump kills the Board of Education. All of a sudden, these TikTok videos coming out, anti-African, giving us misinformed information with no data. Misinformed information, everybody in Indian that's black in this country. Misinformed information. Misinformed information that the Olmec civilization wasn't a African civilization in Mesoamerica, when they got all the evidence point to an African people, that was in Mexico. The Mayans and Inca didn't build shit. It shouldn't be called the Mayan ruins. It should be called the African ruins in America. I knew when I started looking at these videos of black and Africans dispute, I knew that somewhere the oppressor, the enemy that Foundation Black America is scared of, because their whole revolution, the pretendian whole revolution, is to not be free, but prove to the world that they have no African DNA running through their veins. Check this video out.
Y'all ever wonder why Africans don't really like us? Well, I was married to an African. I remember we was having a conversation and I said to him, you know, it just really seemed like y'all don't really like us. I was showing him a video. I said, this is what they show us of y'all, that y'all hungry, your ribs is hanging out. So I showed him the video of one of those commercials they would show us like 3 in the morning. Could you spare $1? He said, that is not us. He looked at that video, he laughed and he said, who is that? He said, that is not us. He said, that's not them in Africa. That was never them starving. I said, what? So then I said, well, what is they showing y'all of us? He said the movies that they see of us is that we are, you know, our men sell drugs, you know, which they do, but they sell drugs and they just murder anything walking. They murder everybody. And so I said, well, what they show y'all about us? He said they show them that we're prostitutes and we get high. And I was like, what? And so then he said when he went to get his papers from immigration or whoever he get the papers from to come here, he said they told him, don't marry a black woman. You'll be better off marrying a white woman. So when we're looking at this separateness that we have amongst each other, it was inbred in us. It was inbred to them to fear us. So they fear us and don't like us. We gotta wake up, y'all, and come back together and unite in unity.
They even convinced the Africans to not like black Americans when they come over here. So I asked them, I'm like, what's with the attitude? Because I noticed the energy was very, very rude. Even when I tried to speak to them, tried to hold conversation, they were very rude, seemingly because I was American. So I'm like, what is the problem? And they basically told me that it's because black Americans don't like Africans. And I'm like, black Americans are the most hated in America. We don't hate nobody. Like, everybody hates us because they all want to be us. So that's when I realized after talking to them that they had been coached. They had been coached before coming over here to basically watch these different movies and these different films showing like the negative aspects of black people. So they would have this perception of us when they come over here, not just Africans, but other races as well that come, you know, immigrants that came to the country. So they were looking at us like we were, you know, criminals and we were like danger, but it was all manipulation. When I tell you, wow, the enemy really put in a lot of work to try to make people go against each other. The devil.
Yes, that's the work of the enemy. I showed you those 2 videos to let you know how they prep the Africans before they come to this country. They give them a whole bunch of rundown about us that's not true. So we can't unite. That's been the enemy plan, divide and conquer, since the beginning of the time when we start dealing with the Neanderthal. Divide and conquer. So this is what this is all about. Because as the Africans begin to wake up with the biggest youth population in the world, they won't change. And it's happening right now in Africa, in the white man of America, the white man of France, the white man of Germany, Switzerland, the white man of Canada, the white man of Israel is watching and afraid that super world power will be given to the Africans, in which it will be. That's what's going on in the world. So me, myself, me being African descent, I need an ally. We all brothers and sisters from the diaspora and from all parts of Africa. We all are one people. Whether we in Brazil, Germany, Europe, Afghanistan, wherever we at, we're united as one. And don't let nobody break the chain of freedom. Don't let no one break our chain, but break the chains of the oppressor. Don't be a weak link in the chain. That's what I want to say. Our chain is unity. We must break the chain of the oppressor off the brain, because that's where it starts. Free your mind. Those 2 sisters in those videos explained and understood where the beef was coming from. I think Foundation Black America, the Indian Negro, I think all of them know the truth about African people and the African American. But if they are CIA agents, they must keep the continuation of divide and conquer among the black people. This brother that made this video, there's countless of videos where one of the Indian Negroes say that Africa is poor. Other people had to bring food in from other countries to feed Africa. He said Africa don't produce the coca that makes the chocolate. We know that's a lie. We know chocolate is an African thing. Chocolate is grew in Africa from the plant coca. What are you talking about? They say untrue things, no data, they just say things. Tell me this. All y'all fit on the boat and all y'all got here on the boat. Come on, ain't nobody got on no slave. Prove to me that the slave trade didn't happen. Prove me, show me some documentation that the slave trade was a farce. I don't want to hear nothing from Dane Calloway. Dane Calloway is a Cherokee Indian. I keep telling Dane Calloway, if you admit of being Cherokee Indian, your family was involved with being enslaved by the Cherokee Nation. That's what the Cherokees did. That's what the Cherokee was known for. You see what I'm saying? So the two sisters in the video, the one sister said that, the first video, the sister said that when her husband went back to get his immigration papers, they told him not to date a black woman from America. Get you a white woman. Any African that comes to this country got to be prepped not to fraternize with African Americans. So sometimes you got to point the finger at your enemy. We be scared to point the finger at the enemy, like the enemies that gave P. Diddy devices to do what he do. And at the end of the day, the white people flip on him because he done made them mad, and they give him y'all. And y'all torture him, tear him up, laugh at him, he in jail. They always give you somebody to torture, but you won't point the finger who gave him the advice, who do the rituals to get in Hollywood, who do the rituals to make certain kind of money in Hollywood. You got to sell your soul, dressing, get in a dress or something. You know, white men love putting black men in dresses. Don't you know, on the slave plantations, is true history, you can look it up. Slave plantation owners, slave owners used to dress little boys up in dresses and have sex with them. That's how sick the Caucasian is back in those days, and still sick to this day. They want to kill you based on the color of your skin. Go through a sundown town. That's crazy. That's lunatic. I'm not talking about all white people, but certain white people will annihilate your motherfucking ass. Get your ass off the planet. They don't give a fuck. They would kill you because you black. That's how lunatic that shit sounds and how it is. So, with that being said, y'all, we're going to end this video. Make sure y'all match the likes. Share this video. I'm gone.